Everyone, I'm going to share with you why I had mentioned I keep the cellophane or the packing from bling, and here's the reason why. I'm going to show you how to make your own templates that you could use for glitter or squeeze bottle glitter glues like Stickles or Perfect Pearls, whatever comes in one of these fine tip packaging, so that you could squeeze out and use to create your own bling. So what I've done is I've taken a swirl that I really like, this particular scale, and this one has multiple size blings on it, and I think this is a Primo. Let me just make sure. Yeah, this was a Primo. And I made sure that I still had the bling on it, then flipped it over, and with a Sharpie or any other alcohol-based marker, permanent marker, I've marked, literally just gone in, let me just open it and show you. I just drew on the back, depending on the size of the little pearl in the front. So that way, and I know the dogs are about to bark, so I'm so sorry. That way, when I have used this up, see if I can peel it up and show you. You see I've peeled it up? There'll be placeholders left for me. So what I'm going to do next is I have a couple of different size hole punches already. This one's itty bitty, teeny tiny McGill one. I'm not even sure what size that is. It might be an 1/8. And then this giant one, and I know that I have another one kicking around on my desk that's the regular standard size hole punch. So I'm going to use all three and then go around and punch these holes once I've removed the bling. So then when I'm ready to use this as a template, I could place it on top of a piece of paper and then go in with my glitter glue or Perfect Pearls or anything that's in that kind of tipped jars, squeeze them out, then lift off the template and have the swirl pattern transferred. So I know I have a giant stash of both Stickles and Perfect Pearls, which I'll show you in the next segment. So I'm going to show this to you step by step. What I've done is I grabbed this Say It in Crystals Prima, which I don't even know how long I've had, but I've already marked one of them up. See, there's no more. This is the reverse side. So here's the bling, and you see this. I've already used this one up, but it's a nice little swirl, and I've gone in with my Sharpie and dotted every step. So then I'm going to go in with this tiny little precision hole punch and line it up and punch out exactly where a little just make sure they separate entirely. So then once they're punched out, and these are itty bitty, and that's because I want the tiny little ones. And obviously for the smaller ones, you'll definitely need to use, you'll only be able to use the fine tip. For the larger ones, for the larger holes, it won't be that much of an issue. So these particular ones are all itty bitty tiny, so I'm going to make sure that when I punch them out, it definitely removes the, oh, I almost punched it with this big one. It definitely removes the plastic. This is going to be time consuming, but only once, because once you have it created once, you're all set to go. So unfortunately, because this does require a lot of concentration, I really need to be on top of it, so I won't be able to complete it while on camera. So I'm going to do the rest of this off camera, and then I'll be back to show you how to use it as a mask, or how to use it as a template. Okay, so I have punched out part of the swirly one. I'm still looking for that wayward medium-sized punch, so I punched out all the little ones. And then I punched out this itty-bitty little flourish. Let's see if the camera picks up. See all those little holes? And do you see the scratches across that? The punches are not always punched through clean, so one way that I learned through trial and error is, let me see if I could find one to punch. Let me just punch one off the side. So I punch this way. I line up the hole to where I want to punch. Let me just mark it so you could see exactly. So if I have a little circle there, and that's what I want to punch out, I line up the hole with the black dot and then punch. But instead of just letting go, because I know there might be a little hanging tag, I twist the plastic, and be careful when you do this, especially when you have a lot of small pieces, small holes together. This way I know that the entire punch out is loose, so when I let go, there's nothing stuck on the other side. Because if you have a little tab stuck on the other side and you go to pick it off, you can actually rip the whole thing. And then in order to prevent any snags, all I did is took my little file set from Basic Gray, and I just ran over it this way so there's no snags on either side, because the way we're going to apply it, let me just move all these things out of the way, and I grabbed some, see the little residue pieces you see right there? I grabbed, see I already tried a few of them out right here. This I smudged with my finger, but essentially you don't have to be very precise. Well, okay, if you could focus that would be fabulous. Focus, and maybe not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to just hold it down, but you could certainly apply temporary adhesive. And I grabbed my opal white liquid pearls, and I know that those of you who purchased all those liquid pearls from Blitzy recently, when they had them, this might be a good idea how to use them. So I'm showing some black. Let me see if I could zoom in for you so you could see. Okay. See if the light is better. Maybe just one. Okay. So I'm going to hold this down with my finger, but I would definitely recommend glue, putting temporary adhesive on it. Move my. A little bit goes a long way. Do not over squeeze, because this is what you're going to end up doing. Actually, I think I am going to put a little piece of temporary adhesive down, because I don't want this to move on me, and I'm going to put it down on this side. And of course it's not coming out. It's not funny. Well, you know, the best laid plans of mice and men. Just grab a piece of tape. So I'm going to put a tiny little piece of tape on either side so I could use both hands without having to hold it with one while squeezing out with the other. So I'm just going to put a little piece of tape here and a tiny little piece of tape right there. And I'm putting it on very loosely so I can pull it off. So now I have, I'm just going to shake my bottle down while it's closed and open it up, and this comes out much faster than you ever think. So I'm going to still put my finger down and then gently squeeze on top of each of the holes. And again, a little goes a long way. And the wonderful thing is, once you have this template created, you don't have to be extremely precise. It does help to hold it down. I'm just tapping down on each of the holes. I think I've put way too much on even myself after I said not to put too much. Okay, and now I'm going to peel up. Yeah, see, I put on way too much. And I turn upside down and do a little tap. Yeah, I put way too much down right there. Let me wipe that off and do it again, because I certainly don't want this to be the representation of what I'm trying to do. So I'm just going to take my my little template and wipe it off with just a paper towel. So I could start over. Maybe I'll just hold it down with my hand. And again, not too much. I'm going to make sure I'm still in frame. Tiny little bit. And maybe I'll just do this one side as an example. And I'm using really, really small punches, or punched out really small. When it's a little bigger, it'll be a little easier. And see, they're just slightly different sizes, but they round out when you tap on them. I don't know why it's not focusing. There we go. And these are almost dry right here. And if you don't have a swirl that you'd like to reproduce, you could totally draw one. All you need is a piece of acetate, place it over a swirly piece you like, and then draw it with a marker that way. I did do a very fine, let's see if I have it near me, very fine, yeah, it's still in the packaging. See all those little pink ones? That's how tiny you can get the extrusion of the perfect pearls. That was a pink one that I did on ETC. So it's absolutely possible to do a tiny little bit, and I was probably rushing, so larger ones obviously will be much easier to do, but it's completely possible. And once you have one created, because I don't know if I would want to try and do that freehand, although I have a pretty steady hand, I could probably try it, but it is much easier when you have a template. So let's see if I can do alongside of it. If you just barely tap, I already have too much coming out now. And see, I just did a pattern alongside the one that I just did from the, just turn it over and tap it. Make sure there's no point. Oh. There you go. See that? The other thing that you could use this for, which I'm thinking might be super helpful, is I have tiny itty bitty little rhinestones, which I think this would be a cool pattern to place down the glue. And grab another piece of black while this one's drying, and if I tap glue on that, I can grab my rhinestones and place them down. Ooh, something got stuck to that. And place them down that way. So I'll just put a couple out on my desk surface. And then use some glue. I think what I might do is hold it down and smear a little glue. See how that works. So if I just do this, I don't need a lot because I'll just run it that way. See, I have, again, I put way too much glue, obviously. But now I can take my little stick and place them down right where the glue is. And again, I'm showing you with these itty bitty little tiny holes and stones. But the job will go pretty quickly if you have the right tools. So, and this way you don't have to put glue down on each and every one of these. It's already down for you, so it's just a matter of, just need some flats. Just a matter of placing them down. This will go pretty quickly, actually. I wish I had gotten the black ones when I got these clear 2mm. I got a gross of them. And they're really quite tiny. And because I do so many ATCs, it's just the right size. And this goes pretty quickly. Let's see, adds a few more over here. So since I'm doing this in real time, you see just how quickly this can go. You definitely use a little less glue, but since it dries clear, I'm not too concerned about that. That won't be an issue. And you can go quickly enough where you see I used quick dry, and that sets up pretty fast. And I'm still able to get most of them on, if not all of them. I think I'll be able to get them all on. Look at that. There you go. So it's all of them. Oh, there's one extra hanger on. So not too shabby, right? So that's much easier, and obviously since I was showing you the teeny tiny ones, the bigger they are, the easier it will be. I just want to wipe my glue off because it'll start to set up tacky. So this is just one of them. There's another one right here, and I definitely need to corral my desk. That swallowed up the other hole punch. You can also use your crocodile. I trimmed them down smaller because I wanted to make sure I could get to the markers with my hole punch, but if you have something that you need to put just like a center point, use your crocodile or a big bite. That would do it. And see, all set. And they're relatively uniform. Now I have some really cool patterns on this one, on this particular sheet. It's the Say It in Crystal, so like this one would be really cool to reproduce. So we'll see. Think of it that way. If not, if you don't have one of these to work with, you can just draw on a piece of acetate a pattern that you like and then punch the holes out so you have a template. If you have any questions for me, please leave me a comment. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching.